to Agent Spotlight, and today I have the pleasure of being with the Grimes group. So we actually have a family-led group here today, which I absolutely adore in the Market Center. I always like to start with learning a little bit more about you and some background. So whoever wants to take the lead, tell me a little bit about how you guys came together and how you got into real estate.
She's the lead.
And it begins.
She is the lead.
I love it.
I knew that was going to happen. Well, originally I was in real estate. I came to Keller Williams probably in 2000
about 6 years ago. Huh?
Yeah, about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes.
And enjoyed it ever since. And I've been trying to convince my husband to get his real estate license, but he was a general contractor and also an elevator mechanic. So it took him a while until he saw that one year I made more than him, and he was like,
that does not work, right? Yes, I love it. Yes.
He said, well,
it wasn't just that.
I think I'll join the team. No, it was definitely that. It was definitely that. And he said, you know what? Maybe I should get my real estate license.
Mm-hmm.
So he went ahead and got his real estate license, and that's how the Grimes group started. And then, of course, I needed an assistant, and I had a couple that did not work out. Okay. So my daughter was the only one that could tolerate my high demands, very short notices.
Lifelong practice. So.
Lifelong practice.
Yes. Yes. Know how she likes to work. Yes. Yes.
So then, she just adapted in, and she's been great ever since, a great addition ever since.
So obviously, you said you had some people before and then decided, hey, this is a great fit. Talk to me about the benefits of working together. I mean, we're going to talk about the challenges too, because there's always that as well with whoever you work with. Mm-hmm. Yet talk to me about the benefits of working with people, working with your family.
I would say the leverage. I think we can leverage our time a lot better now. When Karlene was doing it all by herself, even though she wasn't by herself before, I would help out every now and then. I would open some doors.
Perception is reality.
Oh my goodness. Every now and then I would try to help out. I mean,
1 or 2 in the year, but I'd be like, listen, do not say anything, just open the door. And that's very hard for my husband.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't talking about showing properties or anything. I'm talking about I would help out with any client events or putting signs and things like that.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing illegal, no.
We're recording, so it's all legal and on the
That's
so yes. What about you, Madisen? What do you feel? Because of course now both your parents are real estate. Tell me about that. How does that feel? How does that work?
I like it. It's getting into something I didn't really know and starting at the bottom and growing. So I think I'm doing it the right way. I think my way. So.
Yeah. Well, you're starting so young, so think in 10 years what that's going to look like. You'll have the real estate empire. Maybe they'll be working for you, right? I love that. So now talk to me about the challenges. What would you say if people out there are thinking of bringing in their better half or their other half into real estate? What are some challenges that you guys have faced and overcome, or maybe still working on?
Well, it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress all the time.
Yes.
One of the challenges I would have to say is, especially when Curtis had first started, separating that our conversation, not just real estate. It began to feel like, okay, well, are we a couple or are we
Just
a
the real
business?
estate.
Like, do we love each other anymore?
Depends on the day. Depends on the day. Yes.
Especially if a deal goes south, we're like, okay, well, what's going on here? So I think the conversation being in the same house and the cutoff time of the conversation was very important to me because
I ask a lot of questions. So
yeah.
So it's like if I ask the question at a certain hour,
At
it
10 o'clock at night.
It kind of annoys her. I'm like, hey, listen, see me, you can ask me all
At
day.
12 o'clock at night.
You can ask me all day long and it wouldn't make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the biggest challenge. Yeah. Madison, there has not been any child no.
It's been perfect. It's been beautiful.
Well, they share an office. I have my own
Yes.
separate office, so.
Ooh.
So what's the challenge there for you? Be truthful. Promise I won't cancel any vacation.
There isn't much of a challenge. Just separating parents and boss is a bit of a weigher,
Yeah.
hard to challenge, but I think I'm getting the hang of it.
And that probably goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
Of separating daughter and assistant. too.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
figuring out, and what you're talking about is boundaries, which we've
Yes.
talked about several times. And I know we have our husband and spouse masterminds too, to kind of talk to other people and learn from other people. I'd love to know what the best advice you've received that has really maybe made things easier or better, or kind of lifted you up as a family group.
Ooh, that's a deep question.
I
Well, you
have
said
to
you have
say,
separate offices. I
Yes,
thought
we
that's
have-
really interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
by having, we needed separate offices to begin with. When we first moved into our house, I built Karlene an office. That was the first thing that I did, because I knew I needed my office and she needed this place to work. So that was the first thing I did to the house, was add an office to the house.
Yes.
That is her office. So
that is true.
Yes.
I think one of the best advice that we have received, actually, one of the best things that we've received is from you. You saying that, I remember you saying, I can't discuss, real estate all the time. So there are times when I had to say, okay, listen, Jeff, let's make bananas. The word, say that's enough, bananas. So there was at one point when I'd be like, okay, we got to get a word.
Yes.
So that was really good advice. So that's when he knew that, okay, this is enough. Let's do something. Let's talk about something else, because it was driving me bananas.
Yes, maybe why we chose the word banana.
Yes.
that's it.
And what they're talking about, because it's so interesting that you say to me, like, you could go all day and still answer a question. And I'm the same way. When I've had enough, I've had enough. It's like I need my brain to stop answering questions and that kind of stuff. So I'm very similar in that way, where I finally had to say, okay, there's times I just don't want to discuss real estate and let's talk about what we're having for dinner or something else really easy, or what show are we going to watch on TV.
Right.
So
Yes.
I'm glad that's worked, because it definitely was needed for me. I'm not one of those that can talk about it all day long.
Yes.
So
I think we have two strong personalities too. I think that's the key thing too. Is like when we went through coaching was really good, because then we separated the business. So I just did buyers, she does sellers. So and that seemed
That
to have
helped
been
a lot.
that. I think that helped a whole lot. Yeah.
So that's really helpful, because it really defines what your roles are on
Yes.
the group. And that's kind of what I want to transition into, is to talk. I mean, you guys have been so successful and you've had huge growth, which congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What do you think has been that key to your success and that growth, especially in the last year? What do you think the key has been?
Madison.
No.
No,
I think systems have really
Oh,
helped.
absolutely,
Getting our
yes.
systems
We've
together.
adapted a lot of systems. Yes.
Yeah.
Our Trello board and stuff like that. How we intercommunicate, that works really well.
It really does, yes. So systems is on it, and I have to say that Madison is our client care coordinator. So when it's time, part of her role is to make sure that she remembers birthdays, anniversaries. She helps us with that.
Yes.
So if there's a letter or a card to be written, she tells us, okay, let's go, let's get this done. So I believe that has been a great asset to the business.
I love that, because that's really going deeper with your customers, because I know you're pretty customer referral and working with clients again and again. That's where your business is based, and we do have to go deeper into relationships. That takes time and systems in place, because let's face it, we as agents are all over the place, so we need that person who kind of keeps things consistent to make sure we are staying in touch and doing those special things like birthdays and that kind of stuff. So one of the other things that I want to talk about is you guys do something different that I've noticed and I see all over the place is Wealth Building Wednesdays, right? Let's talk about that because of course that's near and dear to my heart, and I love that you guys are doing that because it's such a value out there in today's world where people don't really necessarily think of wealth. They think about their job and what they're making. Tell me where that idea came from and really what is your goal with that group?
Well, I guess kind of wealth building was kind of my baby. Or no? Yes, maybe. I don't know.
I'll let him have it.
You'll let me have it? Okay, I'll take it.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that
He
later.
likes to take all the good ones, but I'll let him have it.
I thought Wealth Building Wednesday was my kind of baby to work with, even though sometimes I'm a little hands off, and sometimes, especially in today's market, it's really hard to get time to build up enough information for it because I'm working with buyers all the time.
The tough part.
Yes. So I kind of feel like I have the tough job right now, but I think it just really started from where we started from, and looking at how we started out and wanting other people to be able to have that. Is we started out in living in a basement in New York when we first got into real estate. I mean, before Karlene even became a realtor. We purchased our first home. It was a 4-family, three floors upstairs. I went to work every day, came home, fixed those up, and we ended up living in a basement rent free. And
so smart.
That's how we got our start into real estate.
Okay.
And then from there we bought other properties and flips and then we had a bad realtor, which Karlene was like, oh no, I am going to get my real estate license. So, and that's what she did. She went and got her real estate. And she was like, you should join me. And that was probably 18 years ago.
Don't.
I don't know. So a couple of years ago.
4 or 5. I mean, she started when she was 15. Yeah, started when she was 15.
That's
it. Yes, there you go. So true. And I hear that all the time, by the way. People get into real estate because they've had a bad experience, or sometimes it's a really good experience with somebody that inspired them. And I've heard both. So that's really interesting. It's so important because what you guys are doing is paying it forward. Someone kind of at some point taught you like this is really important, or sometimes we learn on our own the hard way, and now you're paying that forward. So when can they tune in to join you for that?
Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m.
Okay, and all via Zoom, right?
All via Zoom. It's via
now.
Zoom, and we on YouTube. We broadcast it on YouTube and Facebook.
On Instagram.
And on Instagram, yeah. So
So
we're trying to get it on all
everywhere.
platforms. We're not as advanced as we got it right here, right now, but we're getting there.
Yes, fantastic. I want to also highlight you because you are on our Agent Leadership Council, our ALC committee, and you lead one of those committees. Tell me a little bit about our brand new committee here, the DEI committee.
Oh, I love that committee. It's my baby.
Yes.
So it's DEI stands for Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion. And Gary Keller, when everything happened with the Black movement and George Floyd, which is they're on the news broadcasting it right now, the trial, he decided to take a stand. He said that we had to do something more as a company. And so the ALC decided that we needed another committee called the DEI committee. So I felt that it was my social responsibility, not just because I'm Black, it wasn't that, but it was because I'm passionate about seeing it from all angles and being open to hearing more and understanding. So I just want to share that, and I want other people to be open to understand and share as well. So I felt that I don't have a patience in a lot of things, but I do have patience in this area. So I figured, you know what, let me give it a shot. I can't do it wrong because no one else has done it before.
Well, I can tell you on this, and you're doing a fantastic job. And I think it just really speaks to your leadership to step up for a brand new committee without any kind of what did people do in the past, and your passion. You mentioned the word passion, which I think you can feel in each and every meeting and the things that you're doing, because it's not an easy thing to do. So
not an easy topic of discussion.
no, not at all. And you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
I wanted to make
you.
sure and highlight you in that because you stepped up. We probably had 2 people raise their hand, and I'm just super excited, to have you be a part of that, because I think it does make a difference, and I think it changes our office for the better.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome. Okay, so we are now going to have some fun in the rapid fire 5. Ready? So this is just 5 fun questions to learn a little bit about you. I did not tell them what those questions were going to be, so that always makes it a little bit more fun, especially when I have 3 people. And if you have a different answer, you can shout that out too. So, number 1, who was the best cook out of the 3 of you?
Hands down.
Hands down.
I'm probably the only cook now.
Right now, she's the only cook. I'm the master of the grill.
Oh,
grill
okay.
guy.
I'm the grill master.
Yes.
What has been your favorite vacation taken thus far?
Brazil?
That's not my favorite.
Oh, that was our honeymoon.
Oh,
I'm like, hold up. We had a lot of fun.
back it up. Back it up. Oh my gosh. Has to be going to Cancun with the kids.
Cancun
I
with the
think
kids.
that was.
Y'all heard that.
When they were really, really young, and we took them to Cancun, and I just remember so many visions of them laughing and having fun. Remember,
I do, yeah.
like that was
Just trying to help you.
I got it.
That vision will always stay in my mind. How big their smiles were, doing things for the first time, and just it warmed my heart.
Madison, what about you so far?
Number 1 is Bermuda for me.
Oh, Bermuda.
Yeah, that was nice.
That one.
Bermuda's beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice. And number 3, if you could go back 5 years in real estate, Karlene, what would you do different, if anything? 5 years.
Oh, what would I do different? I'd have to say that I would hire help earlier. That's what I would do different. I think I took too long to get some help, and there were a lot of ups and downs and heartaches and tears because I felt like I was going it alone. So I think I would definitely hire help.
Okay. How about the ideal date night? Neither one of you can answer that. Ideal date night. What's your favorite date night?
Good restaurant, good music, nice atmosphere, good food.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
He's just saying that because he knows that's what I like.
Yes, I was waiting for her to go whatever she wants. Whatever she likes.
Whatever she
I'm
likes.
totally good with that. Okay, and this one can be for all 3 of you. What is the most exotic or weird thing you've ever eaten?
Calamari.
Calamari. Okay, yep.
Yeah.
What's that? The fish eggs?
Oh, caviar.
Gross.
Ew, I know. I'm with you. It's supposed to be so good, and no. Yes, I love it.
I don't know, raccoon.
Ooh.
I look at it. If y'all could see her face back there.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. It was super fun. I hope you guys got to learn more about the Grimes Group. And of course, we'll have their contact information in the post. Thank you so much for joining us as always, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.